Yes, welcome to my Wholesome Family series again. And today is a new month, right? The first day of May, and I wish every one of us a most beautiful and amazing month. And as we've entered a new month, we are addressing a new theme anchoring on comparison. The pressure that comes from comparing our children and how it takes away our joy. Sometimes we don't understand how pressure seeps into our homes from things that we don't even regard as significant. So, something like pressure, something like comparison, comparing yourself with other people, comparing your husband, your wife, your children. You don't realize how they put pressure on you, how they put pressure on your mind, how they affect your action, your reaction, and then affect the way you relate with people around you. So, yes, today we are going to address the pressure that comparison adds to our homes and how it's stealing the peace in our parenting. So you are welcome. Kindly have a seat and invite someone you love, a family that will benefit from this. So the truth is that we don't know how these things seep in gradually, and people around us suffer for it, especially people in the same home with us. So, familiarity brings with it that tendency to see the whole of this person, the person's weakness, inabilities, even strength. And if we are not careful, we begin to see the strength of other people more than the strength of the people that live within our home. And we suffer for it. Those people, the same way you suffer from your partner or even your children comparing you with other parents they've seen, right? So today I welcome us on this important topic on stopping comparison because it's stealing the peace in our homes. All right. So you see another child behaving well outside. You don't know the amount of work that have gone in to make that child behave like that. One, you don't know if this child is just being like that because he's outside and doesn't want scolding from parents, doesn't want people looking down on him or her, and a lot of other reasons, right? So you see that child comporting him or herself, and then you begin to compare your own child that is everywhere at home. You understand? So sometimes you ask yourself questions if your child is falling behind. You even, sorry, darling. Sorry about that. So sometimes it's okay, sir. You want to go to bed? Take her to bed, okay, Mama. You need to go to bed. So sometimes you even ask yourself if you are not doing well enough. That's the level of pressure comparison can put, not just on you, but on your children. So the truth is that comparison is one of the most silent, destructive pressure in parenting today. We see a lot of uh, um, social media videos of children and what they are doing, and then sometimes we call our children and we even start talking to them about it, right? Without realizing that we begin to make these children feel less of themselves. We begin to make them question their credibility. And it also affects you indirectly because you begin to ask yourself, what are you not doing well? Why is this child like this and your own child is not like that? Which shouldn't be, it's not necessarily. Because first, we need to realize that every child is individualistic, their personalities are different, right? And the way a child reacts or responds or uh, um, uh, personality of a child may be different from that of another child. So if you are not careful and you begin to compare your child to another child you are seeing in the open place, in church, in public places, you will end up destroying your home. You will end up destroying that child because sometimes and most times it begins to affect their um I self perception of themselves, and which in the long run may affect that their identity. All right, so comparison is, I call it, a stealer of joy. It can steal your joy without knowing it. Yes, it can steal your peace, not just your joy. It can steal the happiness within the home front. Because if you begin to see other children and start comparing them with your own child, you may begin to feel that your child is not doing well, is not performing well. Or do we talk of academic performance when we see others celebrating their children having the first position and then your child is coming with thoughts, if not last position? You know what it could be like. So it's a constant, intentional um, work we must put in place to ensure that we don't allow this to take root in our homes so that it doesn't destroy our homes. Okay? So we are talking about the comparison syndrome and how it affects our homes, how it takes away our joy and happiness. So I want us to review on how comparison, or rather understanding the trap of comparison. What comparison does is that it shifts our focus, right, from who your child really is. Like I said, every child has their individual personality differences, their uniqueness. So what comparison does is that it shifts your focus from the real person, right? The real person you have been given to as your child to train. And you begin to desire another. it also shifts you from the focus of growth to performance. So that point where you are supposed to put your time, your effort, welcome, love the Mefem. You're welcome. The time you are supposed to put effort in the growth and development of your child, you are beginning to focus more on the performance expected. And remember, you don't expect an outcome of what you have not put in as a work. So your child need the effort that is required of you to help this child grow into what he needs to be, rather than being focused on or being pushed around to perform. Because that's what our children end up doing. When they see that we are comparing them with others, they begin to focus on performing like the other person you're comparing them to. Like even when you have children, the same siblings, when a particular child is being praised for doing something, you discover that the other one will begin to copy him or her. Performance. It is not the real depth growth of that child. This child is just being a copycat, copying the other child so as to gain the praise of the parents. I hope we are getting this because it's very important. If not, we'll spend our whole time thinking that we have raised children who have developed and grown into becoming what we want them to be, without realizing that all this while they were performing for us. So, what does comparison do again? Comparison drives us from purpose into pressure. So when you begin to see your child from the eyes of another child, when you begin to compare your child with another child, whether within the same home or another home, you move from purpose into pressure. You begin to act under pressure. You begin to put your child and subject your child under pressure. So you realize you are more keen about getting this child be like the other child rather than working according to the purpose. Because every child has a purpose. Every child under your care have something they have been created to become. And it's your assignment as a mother, as a father, to discover what is this child created to be. Who is this child I am nurturing? Who is he? What is he meant for? So when you begin to compare, you shift from that point of purpose to pressure. You put yourself under pressure, you put that child under pressure. So every child develops differently. You must keep this in your subconsciousness. Even if they are twins, they may not. In fact, they cannot develop the same way. They cannot be the same way in everything. That's why you have genetic differences. That's why DNA is there. That's why gene is there. They can even identical twins can never be the same in everything. That's why your palms, the lining on your palms are different because you are created differently. Even if you are created for the same purpose, you can still not develop the same way. There must be a difference. If we have this in our subconsciousness, we'll be careful how how we raise our children. It's fine you see a child doing something and you admire it and you even call the attention of your child to it to see what I do it sometimes. You know why I do it? So that your child is able to see from the eyes of other children their possibilities, what they can do. Not particularly that particular thing, but just to boost their confidence that they can try things, that they have a lot of potentials. Not you trying to, is it not your mate that is doing that? Is it not your, why are you different? Why are you not doing this? No, that's comparison. So you can challenge your child to become better. You can compel them. You can stimulate their interest and their desires by showing them things that others are doing. But beyond that, there are opportunities you need to help your child build their creative mind to be able to try things on their own and discover their own skills, their own potentials, their own gifts. Which is why we talk about allowing your children to play, allowing them to explore crafty work and engage in puzzles and all that to build their creativity and brain power, instead of overwhelming them with screen that affect their frontal cortex. So we need to be careful. Children are different emotionally, academically, spiritually, and otherwise. Don't let your child grow to that point where they begin to see themselves as not sufficient enough and not able to try things or push through because they feel their effort is not enough. So we need to focus more on the effort our children put in doing things, in becoming what they are desiring to, or in achieving something rather than what they have already achieved. So I was watching a video the other day of a parent who was acknowledging a child. Okay, so there were two brothers, boys. They were in a dining eating, and one brought his results. He was first in everything, and he was boasting and confident about it. Then he was now making jest of his other brother. I was like, I know you will not take first position. Can we see your results? You're not even bringing it forward. So the mom had to reflect more on the effort she saw the son put, that one that is not even coming forward with his results, because apparently he didn't make the first position. But the mom have seen him work hard, stay late in the night reading, studying, making effort. And the mom tapped him, gave him more food, whatever they are eating, and encouraged him and complimented him for the effort she saw him putting on and made him to know this is more important than the outcome. So when we compliment our children in their effort rather than the outcome, it boosts their confidence. It promotes their ability to try more because they have seen you are putting emphasis on the effort. And what you have also done is to teach them the value of hard work. But when you emphasize more on results, that is where we talk about you shift from purpose to pressure or performance. So your children are more keen in the outcome. So no matter what it takes for them to get the outcome, they will rather do it than to put in the work. So you see where you see people do shortcuts, cheat in exam hall to pass their exam. The focus has been on the results. They want the results, not the effort to get to the results. But successful people are people who put in the work because in the process of labor and effort, they are able to build their skills. They are able to discover things that someone who is waiting to find a shortcut, do hide and seek, copy and pass exam will never achieve. We never know in life. And these are the people who are able to even be more creative in finding solutions to people's problems, developing their own businesses, and working through life challenges because they have engaged their brain power to reason, to rationalize things, rather than depending on cheap ways to success. I hope we are following. So we'll usually talk about evidence-based and the spiritual insight of whatever discussion. So today, in line with evidence-based around comparison, child development research has consistently shown that children grow at different rates, and comparison-based pressure can increase their anxiety. So your children, when they feel they are being compared, they're always anxious when they feel they are not meeting up to our expectation or to the person we are using as a reference for them. So you see them reduce self-esteem. They struggle with self-esteem. When we compare our children with others, they struggle with self-esteem. Some of us raise children who struggle all their life to find who they are or to make themselves feel accepted or compromise just to be given that sense of acceptance because of the way we made them feel while raising them. So we must be conscious not to raise children who are growing up anxious just to try to catch up with our expectation. I have always said some of us, our expectation on our children are quite high. So you see them struggle all their life to be able to meet up that expectation. That we, even as adults, we are not able to meet such expectations. And we have not put the structures in place to help them meet up that expectation on them. So we need to lower expectations and work with our children according to their level of development, according to their personality differences, according to their learning abilities or learning styles. I would rather use learning styles. Because if you don't know a child's learning style and you are teaching this child a different way and this child is not catching up, it's not the child's fault. It's you, the teacher, or the school you have sent this child who don't understand the way this child learns. Because every child can learn, but you have to be programmed. The learning has to be programmed in a way that their brain is equipped to pick it up. So, what this means, when we compare our children, they grow up anxious, reduce self-esteem, and long term, it affects their confidence, self-confidence over time. So you see, children who have reduced self-esteem will automatically suffer low self-esteem. There's no two ways around it. Look at those who lack confidence. They also have reduced self-esteem. So when we do parenting, it's not like anyhow thing. And that's how we are raised. Let's go. They will be all right. Some of us knows that we struggle with self-esteem. Some of us knows we have to fight as adults to boost our self-confidence. But do you know, self-confidence is something that children should naturally grow into. But some of us have to do a healing work on ourselves. Why we may not we realize it. If you reflect very well, sometimes you will realize that you find it difficult to contribute in an open, important meetings. Self-esteem, self-confidence. But there are people who it comes naturally upon. Their voice is everywhere. And sometimes we even see them as they talk too much. Yeah. Those of us that had to walk through our self-confidence and boost our self-esteem, See those people who are outspoken, who are loud, who are everywhere, like they are overdoing it. Let me not go to trauma. So when comparison becomes the lens, children stops feeling seen for who they are. So they start feeling like they need to perform for you. How comparison affects children? So children may not say it, right? Because sometimes they don't even know what is happening around them, but they feel it. And if you are very observant, you will know when a child has started suffering. And if you are intentional, you will have to take the responsibility, of correcting these things early enough. And this is why we are here. This is why we teach wholesome family topics that help families discover, realize the loopholes that are affecting children, affecting parents, affecting the home, and fix it on time. And that is why we are here today to talk about how comparison is stealing the joy, the peace in your home. So, when children are constantly compared, they will begin to believe one, I am not enough. Two, I must perform to be accepted. That's where you begin to raise pretenders. You will see them beginning to think, I am behind. Like those people are ahead of me. Even you as an adult, you suffer it sometimes. Sometimes you think that those who are showing their achievement, they are landed, they are better than you. In fact, you now ignore your struggles, the effort, the labor you have put in through to be where you are. You now forget that all fingers are not equal. You forget that where you're coming from may not be the same point those people are coming from. You ignore your effort. So that same thing we do to our children when we compare them. We make them begin to feel behind. And some of them begin to feel that effort and labor is not what is important. So you also see them begin to see themselves as less than others. That is where it begins to affect their self-esteem. So some children will respond by striving excessively. This is where you see um, siblings having beginning to have conflict. You have a siblings seeking attention of their parents or beginning to put effort to win the love of their parents, which shouldn't be. So you see others withdraw, then you see others strive. And that is why our outcomes are not the same. Some people who went through comparison how to fight to win it, to win the victory, to win the love, to win the approval and acceptance of their parents and the people they meet in the society. While others rather withdraw, becomes timid, becomes needy. You see others going to the extreme of depression, telling you they will kill themselves and all that, just trying to get the attention by all means. And that's why when we say these things were done to us and we turn out for you, don't realize that it's not about everybody turning out for it. It's about you who was able to push your head through it, through striving, through putting effort to prove to. In fact, I was telling someone when I was growing up, there was this auntie of mine that would keep saying some things to me. And then In my heart, in my mind, in my spirit, in everything I have within me, I vowed that my outcome will amaze this woman. But there is someone who could have, in other end, say, giving up, begin to feel less of him or herself. The outcome will be different. You realize. So both outcomes are two different people carrying pressure of comparison. But you have to choose what pressure you put on your children, because they may not be able to follow through or scare through like you did, like I did, or like some other people did. So, and here is the truth: comparison does not produce confidence, it produces insecurity. It makes your children feel insecure around you. And that's why they cannot be their real self. We wonder why we raise children, especially children raised in church. And when they are outside, you will be amazed at what they do. They were never themselves in the house. There was this pressure from you that keeps them in check. But do you know where that check stays? In the home or wherever you are. When you are no longer there, they have the liberty to be themselves, and everyone always find a way of expression to be themselves. So when your children go out, that's who they are. So how comparison affect parents? Enough of the children for now, because sometimes we don't realize that it affects us too, the parents. So comparison, I've said it before when I started this discussion, affects you because it affects your decision. In fact, one is that it makes you doubt your decisions. It even makes you doubt your parenting, like credibility, if you're parenting enough. I've seen it come sometimes. I'll see my daughter and then I'll see a similar age and I'll be like, what's happening? My daughter doesn't do this. If this if this child can do it at this age, it means this child can. But sometimes I have to get my, like, call myself back. There are things my daughter can do too that this child cannot do. One is we need to understand the structures that are put in place affect their development, the environment, the resources we provide for them. So I cannot expect an outcome of another child to my child when I have not exposed my child to the same thing that child has been exposed. And sometimes when we watch videos of the things other children do, and you be like, why is my child not doing this? The question is, do you know how long those children have practiced what they are displaying online? Your child, you have not exposed your child to the same time, to the same hour of perfection. You see why comparison takes away a lot of things from us. So it makes you feel inadequate as a parent. Because it's not just about the child, it's about you. You will begin to doubt yourself. So it makes you doubt yourself, makes you feel inadequate. It makes you begin to chase unrealistic standards. So some things, you want your child to become this, no, because you have seen another child does it. And then you put yourself under pressure, you transfer that pressure onto your child. So you are aiming for things that are not realistic. You've not even queried how that child is able to do those things he or she is doing. And you are pushing yourself towards it. So it also makes you lose peace in your parenting journey. You see, once you lose peace, confusion takes over you. Aggression, irritability, all the opposite of peace takes over. You begin to shout when you shouldn't shout. You begin to get agitated when you shouldn't. Little things pisses you off. because you are beginning to compare yourself and your children with others. So it also makes you to start parenting from fear. Fear of what will be the outcome of your children. If they cannot do this, why they not do this? What will be the outcome and all that? It also, the fear also can be directed to you like, are you doing enough? You start asking yourself if you are doing sufficient enough. Look at your own life. Ask yourself, are you doing enough? If you know you are putting all your best, please, you are doing enough. I will always encourage parents, work from the perspective of knowledge. Then put effort. Then put your prayer. You've done your part. There are things you can never do. You can never do everything. But if you are intentional about the way you are raising your children, you are praying for them, you are putting structures in place, you are acquiring the necessary knowledge, like we share here. I'm telling you, you are doing enough. You cannot kill yourself. There are a lot of things you need to face as parents. But we must be sensitive and intentional when it comes to raising our children. But you see this one, you are doing enough, and everything you see, you want to adopt everything, you want to use all your hand to carry, and you are struggling. No, you're overdoing it because under that struggle, you put yourself under necessary pressure. You can have a health breakdown. Then what will happen to the children you are raising? So, if you judge yourself, you are doing enough, you are doing enough. Not based on comparison of what you see others do, but based on what you know in confidence that you're putting all your effort. Leave the rest. It will ask you, comparison will make you ask yourself, are you getting it right? Of course, it's okay enough to do reflective uh, moments about your parenting, which is very recommendable. But when you do it based on the pressure that comes from what you see other people do, no, it's not healthy. It's fear-based parenting. And fear-based parenting can push you to the wall. It can push you to doing things you shouldn't be doing. And you won't even know how it's affecting your parenting or family, directly or indirectly. It makes you question if your child should be doing more. No child is perfect. No parent is perfect. There's always there is always a room for improvement. See it from that perspective rather from comparing your child from another child. So if you allow these things, you will realize that your peace will gradually seep away. So we'll be talking about what God says about your parenting assignment. Because if you are parenting from the point of what God is saying, you will realize that you will parent with peace of mind. And you are easily able to discern or see things when they are going wrong and put things, measures in place to align and to correct them, rather from the place of pressure. So you need to understand that God has given us every child, not by mistake. So your child is not by mistake. And that means your parenting journey is not by random. Let me do it like this. Let's be going. No, it's by intentionality. Because first, you know that your child is an assignment to you. The Bible has said each one should test their own actions, okay, without comparing themselves to someone else. In fact, the Bible said those that compare themselves to themselves are not wise. So remove comparison from your syllabus, remove it from your parenting Bible. Remove it from your library. Remove it from your mind. It's good to learn. It's good to improve. But please avoid the comparison syndrome so that it doesn't steal the peace of your marriage, the peace of your parenting, the peace of your children, the the peace of your fatherhood, the peace of your motherhood. Because you have just few years to be with these children. Let them enjoy your presence. Let them enjoy having you around. Even when they are making mistakes, find a way to, excuse me, instruct them, correct them, discipline, guide them. But don't lose your relationship with them. Because that relationship is what connects you to their becoming. If you shrink it, if your relationship is affected, you will give room to strangers to access your children. You will give room to the devil to destroy your home. That's why I hammer so much on the bond, the relationship you share with your children. I'm not saying you should compromise their discipline on the basis of relationship. No. I'm teaching you that you can raise responsible, disciplined children on a rooted relationship. And that is the focus, because that safe relationship you share with them is their safety. Okay? All right. So you have your own assignment over your children. Never forget that. The same way every other parents have their own assignments. The child you are comparing with your own child don't have the same assignment with your own child. And your assignment is not over them. Your assignment is over the child you have been called to parent. So parent the child God has given to you. Always remember that. Okay? Your child have their own part, not the same part with each other. Even of your child, if they are four, they have their four different parts. Even if two of them or four of them become doctors or four of them become engineers, they have their own parts. Because at the end of the day, they will not marry the same person, right? They will not live in the same house all the rest of their days. They will not die the same day. Yes, they have their parts. So understand the part of each child and work with them. All right? Your family have their own unique journey. What has God called you to be as a family? If you start following us from January, each year we talk about family vision. Why your family has vision. And the purpose of Familyness Academy is to help your family achieve their purpose. So your own family have their own path. They have their journey. They have their vision. They have their purpose. And peace comes from when you stay at home with all this. When you stay at peace with your lane and stop poking your eyes in another person's home. It's good though to admire other people. It's good to copy anything good you think will be relevant to your home. But you see, comparison, please keep it away. Throw it out of the window, shut the doors. So, how do we break free from comparison? I think I'm already moving in. So, recognize your triggers. What are the things? Ask yourself, when do I feel pressured? Like to insist or to start comparing my child to another person? What are those things that put you under pressure? Is it the things you see on YouTube, on social media? Then limit access to those things for your sanity, for the peace and sanity of your home. All right? What makes me question my parenting? Ask yourself. Because you need to realize what triggers your comparison so as to be able to take care of them. Ask yourself, who or what am I comparing against? Is there a particular person, family, child you keep comparing yourself, your children to, or comparing your family to? If possible, stay away from them. When we got, I think around our third year, there was this newly wedded couple that once I see their, what do you call it, their WhatsApp DM, I'll start thinking a lot of things, still comparing the things I'm not doing with my husband, the things I have my husband and me are not always putting on Facebook. But at some point, do you know what I did? I said, no, this is not healthy. It's not helping me. Is my energy need to be channeled on other things, building my marriage, building my home. I block, not like I hated what I was saying or jealous, no, but for my own sanity, because I needed that peace. I block. They were family friends, kind of like they were close to us. I just blocked their DM. I'm not interested in seeing what they are posting. I have to channel that energy in building my own marriage. That's the same way. If you have a particular family, particular child that you keep seeing, you think they are better than your children, find a way to keep off. For now, why you channel your energy into what can I do to help my child become the best version of himself, the best version of herself, to become what God has created him or her to be. What are the things I'm seeing in my child that I'm not happy about? What can I do to work on them? That should be where your energy is going. Not this child is not doing this, my child is doing this child is doing this, my child is not doing this thing. For how long will you continue to compare? So creating this awareness will break those patterns automatically. So shift your focus. When you have discovered your trigger, shift your focus. Instead of asking, how does my child um meet up to the standard of this person or compare to this, ask yourself, who is my child becoming? How can I help my child become who he needs to be? Because growth is personalized. Like I've said it, knowing who you are raising will help you personalize their growth structure, what they need at every point in time. It's not competitive. Don't raise your children under competition. Like I asked myself, for how long? Is it a race that you have to, like, is it a race? Is it a game? Life is more important than that. Then, when you have shift your focus, celebrate individual progress. You see, any little effort, any little result, celebrate it. Blow it on top of the roof. Let your child see how happy you are for this one he has achieved. You will see how it will boost him to want to put more effort in other things or in becoming better. So you see the same way we hammer and we shout, we criticize when they do wrong. Use that same energy to celebrate their achievement or any effort, even if they didn't achieve it at the end of the day, their target. But you see them put effort. When you see them trying to do some, staying on something, trying to do something, praise them, compliment them. It does something in their brain. So small improvement, small effort, you have corrected them and you see them putting small effort, compliment them. You see them make some changes and some adjustments, compliment them. Because these things, they are more important and they are more result oriented than that comparison. Comparison weakens them, compliment strengthens them. The same way when someone compliments you, you're happy. You also want to, if you have an opportunity to do more for the person. But when someone criticizes you, you would rather want to avoid that person. So see your children from the eyes of you as an adult. If you are in a workspace and you have this particular person that's always looking for your fault, looking for what would you rather do? You want to avoid the person. But if you have this particular person that always compliments and praises your effort, you want to work with those people. I know people who before they go to work, they will start checking the people they are working on, the team they are working with that day. It's in the mind. I know people who will cancel when they have a particular person on the duty they are coming to work, because in their mind they don't want the toxicity of this person, because this person is always reporting them or complaining about them, so they rather not be in the same space. That's the same way our children feel. So let's celebrate their progress and their efforts. All right, then protect your environment. How do we protect your environment? Limit exposure to social media pressure. I've said it. Things you watch that makes you want to start comparing. Screen them off. Block them. Any competitive conversation, there are people who want to throw it on your face, their children achievement. If you think you are not able to carry it or it's affecting you, then avoid those conversations. If they bring it up, excuse yourself, find a way out. You're not a tree. Move for your sanity. Some people will make up stories to impress you. Avoid them. I was seeing a status, was it last week, that was trending about how some women will be enjoying their lovers' day, right? And then they will create an impression to another woman that their husband is not doing enough. And that one, like a kind of deceptive conversation between two women, one creating the impression that their husband is not doing enough, while the man is doing like a party and cooking for her. Do you understand? Why the other one will be thinking, oh, they are in the same position and all that. So why did I bring this up? What this kind of conversation does to you is that whatever is put out is what you have picked. You didn't see it happen. You don't know the real state of things. So any conversation that puts you under pressure, stay away from it. Any status, stay away from it. Some people would rather project the positive, the good part of their life rather than the negative. It's only few who have been pushed out to the world that they want the world to hear what they are going through and all that. But on a normal day, people want to push the best of their content. So avoid those conversations. Avoid unrealistic expectations. I've said it, some of us, the kind of things we expect from our children, we self, we never reach that level. So ask yourself, what I'm expecting from this child. One, is it realistic? Two, have I put the right structure in place to equip this child and this child is not meeting up? Three, am I using the right teaching or training module? I was telling us about learning styles. While I'm teaching this child this or exposing this child, is it this child's learning style? So I can be putting all the effort, but not using the child's learning style. It's like throwing water on top of a stone. So before you conclude, ask yourself question what you have done and stop putting high expectation on your children. So these are your environment because they are within your power to manipulate, to influence, and to put in check. Okay? Then speak over your children. Speak identity over your children. Even if, see, speak those things as though they are the things you're expecting. That's faith. Okay? So replace comparison with affirmation. You are the best. You have the wisdom of God. Excellent spirit resides in you. You're a child of peace. You're a child of joy. You are lovely. You are kind. Even if this child is aggressive, he's beating up everybody. Speak kindness. Speak joy, peace over that child. You are growing well. You are becoming what God has written concerning you. I am proud of your effort. Like speak. Let these children see you speak positivity into them. Speak what you want to see them, not what you are seeing. And as you are speaking, be putting things in place. If you have book that teaches about that thing, that is age related, give them to read for them, read with them, discuss these things with them. Put up a teaching structure that will emphasize on those areas and help this child begin to internalize and practicalize these things. On your knees, pray over them. Hand them over to the God who has given them to you as an assignment. The heart of a king is in his hand. He's able to turn their heart. He's able to transform them. That's where structure fails. So I'm in a parenting academy and I hear people say, it's not prayer, everything is not prayer. Everything is not prayer, I agree. But everything is prayer. Because when you subject those structures, those teachings in prayer, prayer does the final work. And what is prayer? God in action. They are getting God involved. I've done my own part. I've done this. God, perfect it. Finalize it. When Jesus promised us the Holy Spirit, he said he will give us the Holy Spirit who will remind us all things I have taught you. So there's a place of teaching. Dear parents, it's your duty to teach, instruct, guide, show, model. Is now the power of the Holy Spirit to bring to remembrance what you have taught. Is your place to pray for them, to read the word of God to them. Don't raise children without God. Don't ignore the place of God in transforming destinies and lives of your children. So the Bible says some trust in chariots, some in horses, but we will remember the name of the Lord our God. Those your horses, those your chariots, those your structures, those your psychology. When you are done with them, submit them to the authority of our Lord Jesus to do the perfect work in your children. So speak identity over your children. Speak what you want to see. Let them know they are uniquely gifted. Help them discover their skills, their potentials, their capabilities. Build that confidence in them. Don't be the one that will shrink the confidence in your children. Be the one that your voice resounds over them. The one that when they are at the point of discouragement, hopelessness, they are able to pick up because they are hearing that voice from the throne of heaven. Your voice speaking life into them, your voice speaking encouragement, confidence, and not dragging them down because they made mistake or they misbehaved. When a child misbehave, correct them with constructive words, not with destructive words. Correct them. Show them what they are meant to do, not drag them down to what they have done. So we should, because words shape identity, words shape destiny. Oh, thank you, my darling husband, boy of God. Thank you for always being here and your support and your anchor. We celebrate you, sir. So remember, your word is powerful. The Bible says that the power of life and death lies in the power of your tongue. Use it positively. Don't kill your children with your word. Build their life. Give them life with your word. Then what else? Build a peaceful parenting culture. Imagine a home where children feel safe to grow at their pace. They don't feel pressured. They are not being compared with someone else that they need to catch up or meet up with. A home where progress is celebrated, not compared. Imagine a home where identity is affirmed, not questioned. Parents lead with confidence, not pressure. This is a home where children will thrive. This is a home where parents will also thrive. Grow old in peace, not under high blood pressure, not under cardiac arrest, not under stroke due to pressure from parenting. You're not called to parent to die out of parenting. You're called to parent with joy and peace and enjoy. When we think your children will surround your table, right? It's in peace, in joy, in happiness, not under pressure, not to surround you on sick bed. Of course, the time will come. At that point, you have grown very old. You have enjoyed your life. But you see this one, hey, these children are giving me high blood pressure. Please, hold your peace. I understand that children can be difficult, but if you discover early, which is why we do these teachings early, areas that need attention, things you need to put in place so that you are growing, raising your children in joy, in peace. So your children, when you are getting old, you are not getting old out of regret and sorrow and shame. No, you are getting old in confidence that you have raised children who are thriving, successors. The next generation, you have built a legacy that is eh, worth expanding to the next generation. You can raise children and grow old, happy, satisfied, fulfilled. So, to achieve that, we must be intentional. Okay? We must be intentional. And as we close tonight, I want us to ask ourselves this important question: who am I comparing my child to? Who exactly? What has this pressure created? How has it affected my relationship with my child? My relationship with my child is very important. So, whatever we do, this relationship needs to be intact. Because, like I said, it's on the basis of a good relationship that you can actually raise responsible and disciplined children. Children who grow up in a strained relationship with their parents don't turn out well. Go and do your research. Because of that detachment, they struggle, they are pushed into the wrong hands, and they grow up bitter. Except another person takes the position of a parent. So we must fight for the relationship between us and our children. It's our duty to ensure that it's intact. So when a child begins to misbehave, you need to start asking what system has gone wrong? How do we fix it? And what will work? What is the disciplinary measure? What is the correction? What is the structure? What is the knowledge that need to be put in place to help this child while maintaining the relationship? In your correction, correct in love, discipline in love, looking at the end of what do we want to achieve. Because if you lose focus of what you want to achieve in your parenting journey, you will strain your relationship. And by the time you discover it, it might have gone so wrong that it may take you a lot to recover. And not just recovering, the missed years, the impact, the nurture, the wisdom you were meant to impart in your child, you would have lost those opportunities. And God help us that that child have not identified other system, other people as their love system or support system. So honestly, we need to be intentional when it comes to raising children and avoiding comparison. So as we close, and I will pray with us, just know that your child don't need to be someone else. Don't wish your child is another child. I know that thoughts. I know the force of those thoughts. When we wish your child is like the other child, that's where comparison begin to creep in. Your child don't need to be like another child. That's why she's unique. That's why he's unique. The question is, why is he like that? What has he been called to? We've talked about this earlier. What is this child created to be? How can I help this child become whom he has been created to be? Rather than why is he not like child A or child C? You need to become who they were created to be. You need to mold them, not necessarily be. For them to become who they are created to be, you need to create the right environment and model the nature of what they've been created to be. And it can only happen in an environment of peace, not pressure. So make an imaginary picture of the kind of child you want to, or your child has been called to be. What is your parenting plan for this child to be able to, from point A to point Z, if this child is exposed to this at this age, if this child is given this opportunity, if this child is mentored in such a way, if this child is exposed to this teaching and teaching, this structure and this child will become this at point Z. But some of us, we just parent and let's be going. We are not comparing what this child is at so age and what this child will have to be at so age and what we need to put in that gap. So we think is anything goes. Anything goes will not give us the end result of a child we know has been given to us for a purpose. Anything goes does not raise a purposeful child. So we must be intentional. This week, I want us to choose one thing, just one thing to stop comparing our children about and what we can do to help our children. In that area, we need improvement. Replace it with encouragement, a structured teaching, and if it's a video, like there was something my child have noticed recently. I had to start making up stories like I'll tell her stories of which we are told as children, a folktale story, and then we'll pick up lessons from it. What am I trying to do? Restructure her brain around this issue. Because I know even if I beat her, shout at her, it will inflict pain. It will not make the change. So if she don't do that around me, she will do it in my absence. But I've not changed her mindset around it. I've not disciplined her. I've not taught her. I've not guided her. So you think you will have said it once, twice, and next time you are beating, I've told you, don't do this, don't do this. At the end of the day, the brain has not been restructured. So that child will still struggle with that thing. Even though he knows that when he does this thing, daddy won't be happy. But the will, the persistency, the strength of mind to resist the urge and the temptation has not been strong, has not been concretized. Let me use the word. So you need to put up structures in place that replaces what you don't want to be seeing in your child. And of course, it's not just one behavior, but you need to pick one behavior per time, which is our challenge as we close this session. Pick one area that you are seeing in your child. What can we do to help this child begin to stop this and begin to inculcate this? This is this discipline, because discipline is knowledge, is empowering, is enabling, is building skill around an area instead of what we see as discipline of beating and shouting. That's why children repeat what we have beaten them over and over. They will repeat it though. You will keep beating them and you think it's your beating that will make them stop. No, your beating will put fear in them. Around you, they will not do it. Behind you, they will do it. You are raising hypocrisy, double, what do you call it? Double-faced individuals. And that is not what any parents want to. Some of us, we used to say we are disciplined. But if you ask yourself, some of the things you became disciplined about wasn't just because of the beating. The beating would have highlighted you, oh, this is wrong. But it took you time to begin to work on yourself to stop them. Either because you are beginning to be embarrassed, or over time you have realized that this thing will not help your life and destiny. You need to work on yourself as maybe you are beginning to grow and become an adult. But as a child, you didn't stop it because you were beaten. You only hide to do it. You hid to do them because you're afraid that the eyes that is seeing you will beat you, but behind nobody is seeing you. You can do it. And that's why we struggle with discipline, with time management, with a lot of things as adults. Because it's not just that one particular behavior that is being affected. It's about our individual understanding of living a disciplined life. And I want to thank you for joining this session. Kindly share and subscribe if you're on YouTube with us. If you're on TikTok, thank you for liking this video, and if possible, share to someone who will benefit from this. As we come to the end of today's session, this is brought to you from Familynest Academy, where we empower families to fulfill their purpose. So today we've talked about stopping comparison, which is stealing the peace of your home, which is putting pressure in you. And we talked about how comparison affects children and how it affects parents. You can go back to the beginning of this video and make some notes I will recommend, and join us again next week. Do have a lovely night, lovely day, lovely morning, depending on where you are watching us from. And I'm happy to to have been of value to you. And as we close, I want to pray for every family that have joined us or that is currently here, that the Lord, by his help and mercy, we uphold your homes. We teach you what those children has been brought into your home to become, and grant you the wisdom and knowledge to help them to become responsible children who will thrive and fulfill their purpose in their generation. And I ask that if you are yet to hand your life to God or your home to God, that God will convince you of his power beyond structures to raise children for himself in this generation. Thank you for joining us, and I pray that the mighty hand of the Lord will uphold your home. You will not suffer loss over your children. You will not suffer loss over your homes. In Jesus' mighty name, we have prayed. Thank you for joining us again. Do have a lovely night and see you some other time. Kindly join or subscribe to our channels, and I will see you next time. And that's to remind us, next Saturday is our monthly prayer, preserving the next generation prayers for children and families. And we also post daily prayers. So kindly follow us through and pray along with us. Bye, everyone.